Yo, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Bro,
I can't believe our team didn't know what that was this morning.
I went through this whole thought process. First, I had to go find the Good Morning Vietnam, and then I got the Mickey Mouse song stuck in my head from Full Metal Jacket. It was this whole thing. I was just walking through my house, Mickey Mouse, Mickey
Mouse. Oh my gosh, dude, I love that. Yeah, we had our morning meeting this morning, and I woke up and that was the first thing I said in our team chat. Good morning, Vietnam, and we had a couple what? What is that? And so Carlin had to go back and share what the crap we were doing. Ken Wilson, dude, thank you for being here. Bro, it was a brisk morning in here in Alaska. Dude, it was -9 when I got to the gym. It is super chilly. Hats off to anybody watching from Alaska. And if you are not in Alaska and you happen to have a space heater or something like that, at least it's not -9 where you are. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, what? First of all, leave my space heater alone.
Oh, was that you?
Did nothing to you. Second of all, we have very different definitions of brisk, because to me, brisk is like, oh man, it's kind of chilly where you are. That's just words.
It's a little brisk. It's a little brisk. You know what, Carlin? There is this place called the North Pole, and the North Pole sits next to a town, because you know how you kind of have some of these towns, the cities that there's like 10 different cities kind of culminated into like one area, but there really isn't like a boundary like separating them. So there's this place called the North Pole, and I guess there technically is a little bit of a space between the North Pole and then another town called Fairbanks, but they're right next to each other. Santa's Workshop is over at the North Pole. Coolest place in the world. If anybody ever visits Alaska, especially during the summer. Oh, John said good coffee there. Dude, amazing coffee, bro. Eric, I don't know what this means, dude. What about the North Pole has to do with Earth being flat? I don't know where you're going with this, bro.
Because the North Pole's on the top of the Earth, and then you're talking about Fairbanks, which is like down here in Alaska. At least that's the way I interpret it.
So no. I said the North Pole and Fairbanks are right next to each other. I don't know. Anyway, don't know where we're going with that. But it's interesting because if you ever visit the North Pole, even like during June or like September, we usually go camping up there during the summer, and you can go visit Santa in July. And it is the coolest thing, Carlin. Like even like the entire town is all made up of Christmas stuff. Even the like parking lot lights in McDonald's are all like candy canes all year long. And it is the coolest freaking thing in the world. But it is the one place on Earth that has the highest fluctuation of temperature. So like during the winter, it can get -100 degrees. Now, this isn't like a common thing. It's not like every single winter it's -100. But it is the one place where it can get -100 during the winter and then go up to 100 degrees during the summer. That's a 200-degree fluctuation. So I'm glad. I'll take the -9. -9 for me is a little brisk. -100 would be cold. I'd probably have a space heater on if it was -100, Carlin.
It's 47 here.
Dude, you know that's like an Alaskan summer, 47 degrees. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. I'm good. I'll stick with 110. I'm good.
No, Eric, you're good, dude. You're good. I wasn't sure where we were going with the flat Earth stuff. No, I was just trying to articulate that North Pole and Fairbanks in Alaska are like the one place on Earth that gets -100 degrees and then can fluctuate up to 100 degrees during the summer. So in 6 months, you can have a 200-degree temperature fluctuation. Craziest thing in the world.
Anyway. I was going to say, there's a YouTube channel I follow called Yes Theory. Love those people. They actually just put out a movie on the first ever person to do an Ironman across Antarctica. Sounds horrible.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so this dude swam across the ocean, rode a bike through like 5 feet of snow. Ridiculous. I haven't watched it yet. It's on YouTube, but I'm really excited for it.
That's kind of like one of those like Naked and Afraids. It's kind of like one of those things where you're like, it's like, I don't know if I want to watch, but I got to kind of watch and see what happens.
I think just the fact that someone did an Ironman across Antarctica, like if that's not pushing uncomfortable boundaries, I don't know what is.
Dude, I agree. I 100% agree.
And I'm over here like, do I really want to cut out sugar today?
Dude, speaking of cutting sugar and getting into shape and doing all these goals, like, what did you think of last night's Zoom? For everybody who missed it, we're contemplating like just handing this out. So we had a Zoom last night for our clients, and we allowed a few people to jump in there who's not part of the paid program and get some clarity on their goals. And man, I think at the risk of sounding arrogant, I think that was probably the best goal setting Zoom I've ever even been a part of. I feel like there were some really great nuggets in there. And between last night and this morning, I mean, I can't tell you how many texts I got from people that were in it last night that has completely changed their perspective on what they're doing even today. I mean, Carlin, I know you took some fantastic notes. What were your thoughts in there? Because we just hit on so many great things, man. I think it's kind of a great segue going into today's topic.
I am okay. First and foremost, anything involving goal setting is like my happy place, much less anything involving goal setting in my journal. Like that's like a twofer right there. But last night's Zoom just blew it out of the park. Like I was sitting there looking at my notes this morning, just like, I'm stoked for 2024 because the level of clarity that Zoom alone brought, not just me, but like getting to talk to some other people, like there's going to be amazing collaborations happening this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's going to be amazing strides, and I am just genuinely excited to see. Like, I can't wait until next year, this time, when we can go back and be like, hey, guys, here's that Zoom that you guys were a part of. Let's see where you are today. Like, I'm just tickled pink to see those results.
Tickled pink. Dude, I love it. It was, man. It was a great Zoom. And guys, it started off with gaining a lot of clarity. There was a lot of context that was given, starting with, just as an example, there's a lot of people that, we set New Year's resolutions, and we talked about the difference between setting a New Year's resolution and setting goals, and why these things are important, and why people fail, why people don't follow through, how they're measuring things throughout the year. And there's all these different factors. So again, we're contemplating, putting this out there because it was too good to not share with everybody else, especially if you guys are wanting to do big things. I would love it right now. I'd love to see some of the things that you guys have. There was actually at least one person last night that I know of that didn't have any goals set yet, which is okay. But being cognizant of that now, that's something that we want to make sure that we are rectifying immediately as we jump into 2024 is only a few days away now.
Ooh, goosebumps.
Dude, you know what? Actually, this probably make it. So speaking of resolutions and goals, Carlin, do you know my New Year's resolution? Every single year, no joke, hand on the Bible, since I was in second grade, is to stop cussing. That's been my New Year's resolution every year, to stop cussing. And every single year, I typically fail on the first day. January 1st, I'm already out of the game. 2012, I actually made it 3 days without a single cuss word coming out of my mouth. And of course, we're playing Call of Duty Zombies, and an F-bomb slips out, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, Well, I felt like, you ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore, Carlin?
Ooh, who has not?
Who hasn't? Right. I'm not a communist, Jesse. Got it. Okay, cool.
What is
So,
this?
right after the very intro, he goes to the batting cages and he's like letting the balls hit him in the chest. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then Chubbs is like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're making me sick." And he's like, "364 more days till next year's tryouts. I got to toughen up." Like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like, as soon as I break my goal, I'm like, all right, well, I've got 364 more days till next year. I'm gonna get it all out now, and then I'm gonna start. So I say that tongue in cheek. In all seriousness, that's actually what I do with that resolution. That's kind of funny, even though I could just stop cussing. It's kind of this thing that I've been doing it since I was in second grade, wanting to stop cussing. It's been my New Year's resolution. I've made it 3 days. That's the furthest I've ever made it since I was in second grade. However old I was, 9 years old, 8 years old.
I actually haven't set a New Year's resolution since probably like 10th grade.
You haven't set a New Year's resolution? It's because you've been setting goals, bro.
Well, I think 10th grade was the year I was like, yeah, this is stupid. I don't know why that, like, for the people who can hold on to the New Year's resolutions, by golly, go
it's probably
get them.
because you didn't have a cussing problem.
Is it? I figured I was a late bloomer. I figured out the F word in 6th grade.
Ken says, I'm assuming this is part of one of your goals, Ken, is creating financial wealth to help others, creating financial freedom for yourself, and read 20 new books. Dude, I think this is a great idea. I think this is really, really good. I did a live in our Facebook group yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, go in there and check it out. But one of the things that we talk about and that we really hammer on is the need that our Facebook group, Carlin and mine's Facebook group, the Growth Co, fills in for a lot of investors, because you join a lot of groups, you join a lot of mentorships, and the thing that most of these groups and communities and programs are offering are like tactical things. Like, hey, here's how you call sellers. Here's how you overcome objections. Here's how you underwrite a property. Here's how you comp. And while those things are good, those are also the same things that will keep you on this hamster wheel. That'll keep you from escaping your W-2. Or like Ken said, I'm going to go pick on Ken real quick, just because he put his goals up here. But those type, and I'm not picking on you directly, Ken. I'm just using your goals as an example. If your goal is to create enough financial wealth where you can help others, and maybe for some of you guys, maybe that's going into Walmart and just putting $5,000 on a gift card and handing that to the cashier and just saying, "Hey, run this till it's out." How many people do you think you would help?
Ooh, that's a new one.
That'd be awesome, right? So just as an example, for anybody who's caught in that rut where they're like, man, I'm making calls all day. I'm working 18 hours a day. And then I hear this guy, Grant Cardone, talk about needing to 10X my shit. Dude, there's literally no more hours in my day. I'm working a W-2. I've got a family. My kids have stuff going on. And by the time that there's any time left for me, that's what I'm spending doing, making calls and trying to grow my business. And it's like, I have no time to even make more money. So it's not enough, guys, just to focus on the tactical things. Those are things that we have to do. Those are things that we need to know at some point, especially when we're starting out. But to grow, to do some of the things that we're wanting to do, we have to step out. You can't continue doing those same things and think your business is going to go from 10 grand to 50 grand to 100 grand to $250,000 to $500,000. That's not how that happens. And that's the significance of this podcast. That's the significance of this Facebook group. Because there's this self-development side. There's this growth side that has to happen. You have to literally see reality from a very different perspective. You have to become an entirely different person. Your habits have to change. The way that you execute has changed. The things that you think are important right now have to change. The way that you manage your time has to change. The way that you think about opportunity has to change. You can't do the same things that you've been continuing to do and expect different results. So in order to create enough financial wealth where you can help others or create the financial freedom for yourself, those things have to change. And I love, Ken, I love what you wrote right here. Read 20 new books. Because in order to have something that you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. And what better way to start getting ideas on how you could be doing things differently than by reading books, by consuming different content and different information than you have before.
I think, and Ken, this might be a good one for you to start out with if your goal is financial development. But the book, I don't know if you've read it, it's called Profit First. That book has completely reshaped my finances. And I would 100% recommend anyone read that book.
It is a fantastic book, 100%. But that's the type of stuff that Carlin and I want to kind of get in here and talk a little bit more today. Now, shifting gears, now we've kind of set that tone, giving you guys something to think about, giving you guys some context. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Now, let's start talking about, I'm going to pick on Ken's. Ken, I love what you wrote, dude. I love you, by the way, bro. Switching gears here, like creating not only financial wealth to help others, but right here, we got to put our own oxygen mask on first. Create financial freedom for myself. So we have to put on our own oxygen mask before we can start helping others. In order to do that, we have to grow. We have to shift our perspective. We have to overcome a lot of these limiting beliefs. Here's your tactical side of your business. Here's all the things you do. Here's the cold calling. Here's the comping. Here's the getting data. Here's skip tracing. Everything over here. All the tactical shit right over here. Okay? This is important stuff. But to grow this side of the business, you are over here. You have to grow. The way that you execute your daily habits, like I said, everything about you, you have to become an entirely different person. You have to go from where you are right now, and you have to grow into this person you're capable of becoming. I shared this last night. One of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn is, if somebody hands you $1 million, it's best that you learn how to become a millionaire so that you get to keep the money. And those are the types of things that he's talking about. And those are the exact same reason why when you see lottery winners, when they win all these millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, while they go bankrupt, or not bankrupt, but they lose it all. Because they are not the type of person that is capable of handling that type of money, of handling that type of responsibility. That's what our Facebook group is. That's what this podcast focuses on. This is the self-development side for real estate investors. This is the conversation that we bring to the table. We have to be able to grow ourselves right here. We have to create this financial freedom for ourselves. We have to grow as an individual. As we grow as an individual, your mind is a rubber band and it begins to expand. And the cool thing about this, and I've said it before, and this is it is so true. When you start to see things from a different perspective, when you start to see reality differently, when you start to see relationships differently, when you begin to see opportunity differently, all the conversations that you have, when you guys jump on Zooms or when you guys go to meetups, everything that you're doing, everything that you're talking about as you're jumping in there, you're diving into the comments, it's all based around how you perceive reality and how you perceive opportunity. When you can elevate yourself and the way that you see opportunity, the way that you see and value relationships differently, your conversations are going to change. The way you're going to leverage your skills and other people's skills are going to change. The way that you communicate is going to change. And because you communicate differently, opportunities are going to be presented to you differently. So again, when you grow, then you go take action on your business and your business grows. But you're never just going to sit here and hammer the damn phones all day and expect your business to do this. Not going to happen. Because you're going to put yourself in a hamster wheel where you're going to be consistently doing stuff. And yeah, you might make enough to replace your income But to grow it, especially to the level that probably some of you are wanting to get to, this has to happen. You have to grow. One of my favorite quotes, and Carlin and I love this: your income will never surpass your personal development. The level of your income will never surpass the level of your self-development.
Oh,
Got a 2-year-old that came in.
I thought that was my kid talking. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's mine. I think there's that realization that your income has to, like, you have to go up here to be able to bring your business up here. You know, Jesse, you remember the Progressive commercial?
I remember all the Progressive commercials. Flo is my gal.
Or no, not the State Farm. There we go. The State Farm commercial.
Yes.
That one. Okay. That guy, I met him once. This is
You met Jake?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
At the hot springs in New Mexico, of all places. Here's the thing. I was 19. I didn't realize that by talking to someone on that caliber, you could actually turn that into a relationship. So my mom walks by and goes, "Oh, that guy's on TV." And my brain went, "Oh, cool." Instead of turning around and going and introducing myself, bringing myself up, which I could have done and very easily would have done at this point in my life, it was just, "Oh, cool." And I think it's a testament to the way you perceive the relationships that you can build and the way that you can actually monetize off of those relationships. So at 19 years old, I could have very easily taken State Farm guy and built something up. But I was still down here. I was thinking on this level, not up here on this level. And it's just something that I reflect on a lot, actually, going like, you know, if I was where I am now 10 years ago, that would have been a completely different conversation. I'm putting what quote? Wait, which quote, Tyler?
Tyler says I'm putting that quote on a plaque. Facebook user, who is this? I know it's not Haley, because Haley started. Haley clicks on the link now. Facebook user, thank you for being here, and thank you for the comment. I'm assuming you're watching this in one of our groups. If you go right above the video, there's a description of the video, and if you scroll down to the bottom of that description, there's a link. And it says, click this link to share your name to StreamYard or Facebook or something to that effect. But I know you can see it on your end, but for some reason on our end, we can't see it unless you click that link. So if you don't mind, click that link. I'd love to know who we're talking to and be able to interact more with you. But thank you. Thank you for writing this. This Facebook user said, if you want something that you never had, you have to do something that you've never done. 100%. I need to grow to help others. Go create a foundation that will help in education for deaf kids. Dude, I love that.
Well, Facebook user.
Right up Carlin's alley.
Yeah, right up here. I actually live in the town with the largest deaf school in New Mexico, and they are an amazing resource. So once you get there, send me a message. We'll figure out how to connect you with them. Let's see. We've also got the blind school here, now that I think about it.
Cool. So Carlin can help be a great resource for you guys. Or for you, Facebook user.
For you, Facebook user.
If anybody else wanted to get into that, then absolutely. So.
Oh, Francisco. Hey, man.
Oh, it's Francisco? Bro. Francisco was in on our Zoom last night. Bro, was that a fire Zoom or what, bro? Was it the same Francisco?
Yeah.
Dude, that was a great Zoom, man. So I want to shift a little bit and let's talk about money mindset. Ooh. Now, I don't know about you guys. Francisco said yes. Dude, it was a fire Zoom, bro. It was freaking dope. It was a great Zoom. Thank you for being there, man. I want to shift a little bit, and I want to talk about money mindset. Now, I don't know if you guys were anything like me growing up. I grew up in an extreme Christian household.
Yep.
I got my first guitar when I was 10 years old. And obviously, NSYNC was big, Britney was big when I was 10. But you can't learn guitar to Britney. I mean, nobody listens to Britney Spears and NSYNC and thinks, man, you know what? I'm gonna go be a rock star. Everyone wants to be on The Voice, or everyone wants to be a pop star or something like that. You know what I mean? But you don't get handed a guitar and then start listening to Britney Spears to learn how to play guitar, right? It doesn't happen. So you start listening to bands like Kiss and Van Halen and Metallica and AC/DC, and that's where you start learning to play guitar from. Start learning those awesome riffs. And John says Britney was big. I don't know. Yeah, she was big. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. She's big right now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like she's still a big deal to a lot of people.
Still a big deal. Yeah, I mean, she's still on my wallpaper. I love Britney Spears, dude. She's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I figured.
Great. Yeah, but anyway, my point being is I grew up in an extremely Christian household, and like so much so when I'd listen to these bands, I was never allowed to listen to these bands. As a matter of fact, you do like Kiss and AC/DC. My mom used to tell me that AC/DC was an acronym that stood for Antichrist Devil's Children. She said that KISS was an acronym that stood for Knights in Satan's Service. So I wasn't allowed to listen to those bands. Well, I had to do it like under the radar. I had to burn discs. And then like, you guys remember what burning a disc is? Probably have some people that's like burning a disc. You light that shit on fire. I used to burn disc and I'd have to write Britney Spears or something on my Kiss records. But that's the environment that I grew up in. Now, I don't know if you guys necessarily grew up in that extreme of a Christian household, but obviously with that context, you can further assume that there was no cussing. I'd get my ass beat for cussing. Maybe that's why I cuss so much. Between that and the military, I guess. I don't know.
PTSD.
But, so my mom used to tell me there's no 4-letter words allowed in my house. And of course, when she said 4-letter words, most cuss words are 4-letter words. That's what she was getting at. There's no 4-letter words at my house. And as I started getting older and I started getting into the more self-development stuff, and I started understanding more about money and things like that, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I felt so weird talking about money. It was the most awkward thing in the world because I was always raised, you don't ask people how much money they're making. You don't talk to people and ask how to make more money. In a way, Carlin, money was treated in my house. The word money and the concept of money was treated like a 4-letter word. Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah.
Or did you guys talk about money a lot?
No. Yes and no. But it was like the traditional sense, like, oh, get a job, go to college, work until you're basically too old to enjoy life. And it's funny because over the holidays, I was up at my parents' house for a little bit, and my grandpa was there, and my parents were there, and my brother was there. And my dad's like, my dad and my grandpa are like flipping through statements like, oh, this is how much I'm going to make on my Roth. And this is what my 401k looks like. And this and this and this. And I'm sitting there. I was like, Dad, you know that you could roll over your money into an annuity. And in the next 10 years, you'll basically double your money. Like you'll get a lot of interest. And he's like, yeah, but who's making the interest on that? I'm like, you're making the interest. And we're going back and forth, and he looks at me and he goes, I don't believe it until you can show me on paper. I was like, fine, we're gonna do math on Christmas then. That's what we're gonna do.
You guys spent your Christmas going over math and learning how to make money and doing all those things. Was he convinced?
No, I've been working on this for 2 years, but he is a diehard 401k-er. Like, hey Dad, lend me some money. Oh, I don't have money to lend you. What about that 401k you're always talking about? Like, come on, help me out.
Yep.
And it's just a completely different way of thinking.
It is. It's 100% different way of thinking. I mean, how many people in here, how many people watching this right now, how many people grew up thinking the same thing or grew up in a similar environment where you didn't ask people how much money they were making? You didn't talk about how to make more money. The answer to learning how to make more money was simply you go work harder. You go work longer.
Get a job with a better pay rate.
Dude, and you think about how we were all raised. Anytime when I was growing up, Carlin, when I want to go to the football game with my friends and meet my girlfriend there, I'd ask my dad, hey, Dad, can I have $10? And you know what he said to me? He said, yeah, I'll give you $10, but here's the list of shit that I need you to go do. I'd have to go mow the lawn. I'd have to, clean out the dog's house, and I'd have to go pick weeds in the garden and go clean my dad's car and then go wash it and go vacuum it and do all these things. So he's given me a list of things that I had to do because in his head, he was trying to teach me how he learned about money. This is how you make money. This is how you establish a good work ethic. This is how you right? And that's why there's a 99% because he learned that from his parents. His parents learned that from their parents, and et cetera. So those types of thinking get handed down from generation to generation.
Dude, I remember I was in 7th grade. I spent 2 weeks working on digging out a stump. My dad and so they moved into this house, had all these trees. They cut down like all of the junipers and stuff. And my dad went around with a Sharpie and wrote a number on each stump. And that's how much money we made for digging that one out. There was this huge stump, dude, huge, massive. He wrote $50. My brother and I were determined to get that thing out. You know how we got it out of the ground? We tied a chain around it. Okay, not $50 worth. So the 5 days or 6 days or however long it was that we spent trying to dig it out, he had to yank it out with a truck and a chain. We didn't get the $50. I was pissed. Like, just
spend all that time trading your time for money.
All that time, dude. I look back at it and I'm like, I got screwed.
So what happens in that situation when we grow up in that type of an environment where our parents are like, yes, I will pay you. You need to go do some yard work, though. You need to go trade your time for money. You need to do this. What happens as we get older, guys? Once we get 14, 15, what is our mindset? We're no longer 10, 12 and asking dad for $10 to go to the football game on a Friday night. Once we turn 14, 15, 16, what are we all doing?
Trying to find a job.
Gotta go get a job now so I can go make more money. That's our mindset. That's how we learned to make money. But we couldn't talk about it because money was treated like a 4-letter word. It's like, hush. We don't talk about it. We don't ask how to go make more money. You just go. So that's what I did. I'm at my first job. I started trading all my time to this pizza place in a place called Heisey Hot Springs. I was down the road from my house. I made like $5.15 an hour. And that's how I thought that you made more money. So consequently, as I'm trading my time and I have all these different jobs all through high school, I end up joining the military. Most people who don't join the military, I mean, I traded my time, obviously, for money joining the military as well. And then I finished getting my degree because I thought I was going to get out of the military at some point and start working for people. Now, because I joined the military when I was 18 years old, I traded my time for money in a different way. But what do most people do when they graduate high school? They jump right into college because in their head, that's how you make more money. So I need to go to college. I need to go get $80,000 of college debt over my head so I can get a degree in underwater basket weaving.
How'd you know that's what I was going to do?
Dude, because I know.
Dang it.
Because that's what I did. So you go get this worthless degree so you can start back at the bottom of the totem pole and hopefully get a job making $100,000 a year. In Carlin, I was always taught $100,000 a year. My dad always told me, if you make $100,000 a year, you might as well be Donald freaking Trump. You can do anything you want in the world. Dude, you make $100,000 a year, dude, you're killing it.
You might get to go on vacation.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Very big deal. Did anybody else grow up like this, or anybody else watching right now that listens to this and they're like, wow, Jesse, you just described my life story. So when we start to make this transition, because we spent so much of our life, for me, I'd spent 29 years thinking that way. And then when you start getting introduced to things like this, it's like, wow, I've got to spend all of my time working twice as hard just to break these limiting mindsets, just to break free of all this stuff. Because growing up, Carlin, I was always under the impression that rich people were greedy, and the only thing they talked about was money, was because they were greedy. But that's not the case at all. When you're learning, if you want to learn skateboarding or whatever you're not good at, underwater basket weaving, basketball, whatever it is, you want to learn something and you want to get really, really good at it. If I was going to start, I love basketball. Let's pretend like I didn't know anything about basketball. If I wanted to get really, really good at basketball, Carlin, not only am I going to go practice it and play it, but what kind of conversations do you think I'm going to be having with people? Are they going to be about soccer?
First of all, you got to find the people who already play basketball, for one.
You do.
You can't go have a conversation with like the third grader down the street about basketball and expect to get positive results from that.
Yeah. So you got to find the right people. And once you find the right people, all those conversations are about basketball. I remember watching a documentary on Kobe Bryant, and he'd spent so much time. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys how Kobe Bryant obsessed over basketball, but a lot of his conversations were around calling Michael Jordan and asking him specifics like, hey, dude, how did you play against this individual? Where do they shift their weight? Are they on their toes? Are they on their heels? Are they, what's the best way to guard them? What's the best way to defend against them? What's the best way to score against them? So he was getting so detailed on the questions that he was asking. He was obsessing over the littlest things, which makes him the amazing individual that he is. And so money is the same way. When we start making this transition and we're like, oh my gosh, not only is $100,000 a year terrible, but you're telling me that I have the potential to go make $100,000 a month? So what are you going to do to start doing that? You have to start learning and talking to people about how to do that. But then we have these limiting beliefs, these limiting mindsets that are surrounded, that kind of make you feel weird about it. It's like, man, should I be talking about money? Should I be making posts on my Facebook about wanting to make more money? Because everybody else that I grew up with, including my family, my friends, my neighbors, they might see that shit. What are they going to think about me? And that's the hard part. We have to stop treating money like the F word. We have to stop treating it like it's a 4-letter word. We have to get in there. We have to be intentional. We have to be clear about what we want, and we have to be able to communicate what we want. If you want to learn how to play basketball, you can't be afraid that people are going to judge you because you're talking about basketball. One thing that Pace said to Chris and I when we were at the mastermind, he said, it's not who you think you are that's holding you back. It's who you think you are not. And that just resonated with me so hard. Because for the longest time, I mean, that was exactly what I needed to hear to get over some of those limiting beliefs that I had. So once I started implementing some of those things and getting clear on who I thought I wasn't, Chris helped me get into the mode of making very cognitive and intentional decisions to be uncomfortable every way that I can. And that list that I created of who I thought I wasn't, that's where I started. And being willing to openly communicate about money was so uncomfortable for me. Doing a podcast and talking about making money in front of all these people, so uncomfortable for me. But those are the types of things that we have to do. That's why self-development is so important. And that's what I love that this Facebook group does. It helps give individuals the skills, the resources, the information to be able to level up who they are so that they can go attack their business from a different vantage point. Is there anything that I'm missing, Carlin? Anything else you'd like to add on that?
I think you just hit that one out of the park, honestly.
So what are some of the things that you've done for overcoming like financial fears, like addressing like failure of success, failure of scarcity?
I think the first one, actually, that's a hard order of operations because all of those kind of intertwine simultaneously. So I think fear of scarcity, one of the biggest things that we get is a lot of the times when we're getting into real estate or when we're trying to find a way to make more money, it's survival mode. You're trying to figure out how to, like when I got into it, we were trying to figure out how we were going to take care of our fourth baby. Mm-hmm. Our AC blew up. Like James is the only one making money at the time. And we're panicking. We're like, okay, how do we make the most money? How do we make it fast? How do we get it? And your brain doesn't really process that collaborating and creating relationships is going to be the best and the fastest way to make money, for one. Mm-hmm. But it's also how you're going to create lasting money. You have to have relationships. And until you get out of that scarcity mindset, I mean, what is it? A slice of a watermelon is better than a whole grape.
Absolutely.
That once that sinks in,
mm-hmm.
that's where that scarcity feeling just kind of goes and goes away. Fear of success and fear of failure, I think those two intertwine because it's fear of failure is like, I'm never going to make money. I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to have that. And then you get to that success, you get that check, and now you're going, oh, but what if I lose all of this?
So you get some momentum, you get some of that success, and then you slip back into the scarcity.
Yeah, and it's this ever revolving like cycle because you get the money. Yeah, I got the money. What do I do with it? How do I spend it? And then most of us at that point don't know how to manage money. And that's why Profit First is such an important book to read, because you get this money and your brain goes, I need to go buy a dishwasher. I need to go buy a new car. I need to go buy a boat. Like you're thinking of all the things you want to buy instead of realizing if you continue to do that thing
mm-hmm.
that got you that check, or you continue to level up your mindset, which levels up your business, then you're going to keep getting that money. So you get stuck in the poor man mentality when you're in that scarcity mindset because you want all the things, you want everything now, and it all has to happen now. And it's just this rat race until you level up your mindset.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything that you said. I think acknowledging that first and foremost is the first thing that we got to do in order to be able to overcome those things. You know, I heard Alex Hormozy talk about something that I oh my gosh, I really loved. Dude, I love a lot of what he says, all of what he says actually. And specifically when it comes to a fear of failure, he said something that just resonated with me so hard. And let me share that with you guys. I'm going to try to remember. I don't remember what he's like. Let me just communicate the idea that he's getting across. I don't remember it verbatim. But it was basically, most people aren't afraid to fail. They're afraid to fail in front of somebody else. But what is that person thinking when you're not out there failing? Oh, yeah, they're not. What is that person thinking about you when you're not out there failing? It's like, oh, yeah, they're not. And it's like, oh, my gosh, dude, nobody gives a shit. No one's out here sitting thinking about you and wondering if you're going to fail and talking about you. And if they are, that is a perfect indication that you're talking to the wrong people. You're having the wrong conversations. There's two sides to the road here. And you have this side of the road that most of us grew up on, this side of scarcity, this side of being poor, this poor mentality that you can't talk about money. You can't go out and make more money. Then you'll be rich. Then you'll be greedy. It'll change who you are. And again, dude, I'm going to scroll back up. Where's Ken's goals?
It's really interesting, though, because
Here it is.
like as you continue to level up, those people that you think are talking bad about you, they'll be the ones reaching out asking for help. Like, and I'm a testament to this, because when I was like, I'm just gonna post whatever I want on Facebook, why not? What is it gonna hurt? The internet?
Mm-hmm.
When I started posting about the things that were wins, the things that were losses, it creates an impact. You are impacting other people's lives because now they're seeing, hey, it's okay to succeed and it's okay to fail. The amount of people I've had reach out saying, hey, I saw what you're doing. Can you explain that to me?
Mm-hmm.
It was you, Jesse. It was you that told me that by not posting what you're doing someone else a disservice.
Mm. Elaborate on that for everybody else who hasn't heard that.
If I buy a house, okay, if I buy a house, I'm going to post that. And to a lot of people, oh, that's bragging. No, it's not. Because you're now showing someone else that it's your average Joe, your normal person can go out and buy a house. It's possible. You can do it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I posted earlier this year. We were supposed to close on a house. Super stoked. Like it was going to be James and I's first property. It was here local. We were ready for it. We took pictures. We posted it. We're first door in the books, first door in the portfolio. You know what happened to that deal, Jesse?
What's that?
The seller backed out. One day before inspections ended, backed out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was so proud of this success, but then I had to go back and post that it didn't work. And for a second, it was humiliating.
Yeah.
And then I had someone reach out to me, and that humiliating moment became a humbling moment.
How so?
Because just going through this process, realizing this is normal. This is part of the process. This is how we do things. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's okay. As long as you keep your momentum and you keep trying, then your failure from that experience might be what determines the success of the next.
Dude, that was deadly. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for elaborating on that. I 100% agree. I think one of the big things that's helped me overcome that fear of failure and that fear of success is exactly what you just got done saying, Carlin. Me being afraid to be who I'm capable of becoming is doing a disservice to somebody else who's depending on me to be that person. Somebody else's life is going to be better because of who I choose to be. And Carlin, somebody else's life is going to be better because of who you choose to be. Miri, Tyler, Joe, everybody else watching this, Ken, there are people that are depending on you guys to step up, get your shit together, take massive, massive action so that they can become the people that they are meant to be. Now we've all been there. I'm not calling you guys out specifically. I'm just calling you guys here because I love you guys and you guys are here and active in the comments. But this is for everybody, including myself, including Carlin. Just bear that in mind. That just knowing that has helped push me through different obstacles and low points that I've been in my life and in my business. Knowing that there are other people that I am directly, not even indirectly, directly letting down because I'm afraid to be and do the things that are going to put me in a position to become that person that I'm capable of becoming.
I also want to point out how liberating it is when you just kind of break those chains. You're like, I'm going to do all the things. There's absolutely nothing stopping me. That is the most freeing feeling, because at that point you have a thought and you're like, instead of going, oh, it would be so cool to, have an elephant sanctuary. Oh, it would be so cool to have an apiary. Now in my journal, I have the steps written down for how I would take that so cool thing and I'm going to make that a very real thing. It's a liberating feeling because you don't feel confined to just daydreaming anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once that mold gets broken, once that feeling of I can have money, I can do a lot of cool things with money. I can help deaf people. I can help blind people. I can help whoever the F I want.
Yeah.
Because I decided that what I wanted to be is what I'm going to be.
I love that. You've made the decision, Carlin, to not live life to where money says you can be. You've made the decision to live life on your terms, not limited to what your income is or anything like that. You've made the decision to increase your income by the choices you've made from the information that you've gathered that has swayed your thinking in a way to allow you to do the things that you want to do. There are so many people that I grew up with, and I'm probably you're the same way, Carl. And I bet a lot of people watching this right now and will be watching this in the future grew up in the same way, where you've got people that are telling you, hey, don't go chasing money. Don't go chasing waterfalls. You're going to turn into this person. It's going to make you bad. It's going to make you evil. It's going to turn you into this greedy person. But look at Ken's goals right here, guys. Ken, like, making money just turns you more into the person that you are. It just brings that. If you're an asshole, then it's going to make you more of an asshole. If you are a loving and caring person and genuinely care about people and want to help people, look at what Ken's goals are, dude. Ken's goals are all about everybody else. Ken wants to make more money so he can serve everybody else. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's important to acknowledge that these things are going to happen. You're going to have these people that are going to put you down. But at the same time, they'll be the first ones asking for charity contributions. They'll be the first ones asking you to donate to your church or to your kids' program or, whatever. Dude, you know what? The Girl Scouts got me. No, I think it was the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. Dude, I paid $25 for a bag of popcorn. I love, Carlin, that I have the ability to go pay $25 for a bag of popcorn to help somebody else out.
It's fun. I like it.
Dude, the same people, though, that used to be in charge of those things used to be the same people that would have told me, Jesse, don't go chasing money. It's going to make you a bad person. But then they're the first people that want your contribution. When we help people in natural disasters, when there's hurricanes and stuff that come and obliterate towns and cities and devastate states and just millions and millions of people, you think we repair all that shit for free? No. Going and making more money not only gives you the responsibility, but the ability to go and help out more people, to send people on missions, to help churches, to donate to your kids' schools, to help your community. That stuff doesn't happen for free. So wanting to go out and make more money should be everybody's responsibility. Don't put yourself in a don't back yourself into a corner where you're limiting yourself because of somebody else's scarcity thinking. John says those gosh darn Boy Scouts.
Every time, man. Every time.
Dude, I love it, dude. I'm happy to be in a position to pay $25, $30 for a bag of popcorn, man.
See, my problem is they just keep showing up. That it's not the money, it's the whole like, you need to lose weight.
What?
Just keep buying the popcorn.
Well, in closing, Carlin, navigating some of these money conversations and relationships, you got any tips or tricks or ideas for anybody that are struggling to have those conversations?
I think one of the biggest things about money conversations is a lot of the times we're emotionally tied to that conversation. It's a conversation, it's a conversational topic that emotionally charges people. And that's the problem, or that is a big problem, at least. If you go into that conversation, well, no, I'm telling you, John, I'm telling you, Mike, or whoever, I'm telling you, you have to make more money. Don't walk through it with logic. And if they don't want to hear it, that's fine. They don't want to hear it. Move on. We don't have to try and change the opinion of every single person, but we do have to hold on to our personal truth. And I think that's really important because the amount of times, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, my dad gets under my skin when it comes to money talk because he's just really good at it. But having to take a step back and go, okay, I can't let my emotions dictate this. Okay, I'm going to get out the pen and paper and I'll show you why the math makes sense. Still don't want to hear it? That's great. I'm going to go watch A Christmas Story and, Red Ryder BB gun. Mm-hmm. You sit there and continue to look at your 401k statements. Having an emotionally charged conversation about money, it never goes well. But you can also point out the things that contribute. If I have money, I can donate to charity. I can travel. I can study other cultures. I can learn how we can bring cultural change into our society. I can teach cultural acceptance. I can, create a school for blind, for deaf. I can do a lot of things with money. What are you going to do with your 401k? What are you going to do with it?
Well said. Terry, thanks for being here, bro. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well said, Carlin. No, I couldn't agree more. I'm always down to talk about money. I love the conversation. I really understand why people who have money, why they have conversations about it. It has nothing to do with greed or anything like that. It's the great thing about we're not after the money. We're after the time. When with more money, we're able to buy back our time. And when it comes to business, money isn't the important thing. Money is just the way that we keep score. Money is the way that we track what's going right and what's going wrong. Everything else is about serving people, about spending time with the people that you love the most. Not treating it like a 4-letter word. Get out there, let everybody know what it is that you want to do. Go make a post. Everybody who's in here right now and everybody who will be watching this into the future, go into the Growth Co Facebook page. Go make a post and go share what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Go share what your goal is going into 2024. I want you to share two things. What it is that you're wanting to do in 2024 and what you're looking for. What do you need to accomplish that goal? Let's focus on one thing. I want to get really, really granular I want you guys to get so specific. I want you to get so clear. If that's losing weight, great, but don't just put losing weight. Put exactly what are you trying to get down to? If you want to go make more money, don't just write, I want to make more money. Get really, really specific. For people who tell me I want to make more money, I'm like, cool, here's $1. Congrats, you just accomplished your goal.
You know what, Jesse? I'm going to one-up you. Here we go. For every single person that posts exactly what Jesse said, I'll send you the link to last night's Zoom.
Ooh. Damn, that was a good Zoom. Okay, you've had it there. For every person who makes a post on it, we'll send you the recording to last night's Zoom. All centered around goal setting. Hope you guys gain some clarity getting into 2024. I love that. As always, if there's anything that Carlin or I can do for you guys, please let us know. Please feel free to reach out. Again, that's why this Facebook group exists, because it's a place to have a very needed and different conversation than anybody else is having. You go into any of these other groups, and it's all centered around who's got a deal, who can help me negotiate this, who can underwrite this, who can blah, 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 blah. While those are all great and needed to an extent, by continuing to focus on that, by that being the thing that 100% of your attention is on, it will also be the thing that will be your detriment. You have to grow as an individual. You have to start having conversations that are different. You have to start having conversations like this. We got to get very, very clear. This is the self-development for real estate investors. This is where you come to scale. This is where you grow. This is where we do big things. This is where we 10x our business. It's right here in this group. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Francisco says, will we be having one tonight? One more Zoom? No, sir. That was it. We did a bonus Zoom for this week only. But if there's anybody that's interested in getting more information, Francisco, what you jumped in on was part of our mentorship Zoom. So this week was kind of like a Christmas/New Year's bonus Zoom that we ended up doing. And we allowed a couple other people to come in and just sneak behind the curtain. Francisco was one of those individuals. So thank you. Thank you again for being there. Yeah, we had a really great time. It was a very valuable Zoom. So again, like Carlin said, if anybody wants access to that recording, go into the Growth Co. and go post and share two things. What is it that you're trying to do in 2024? And what is it that you need? What's the one thing that you need? Don't give me a list. What's the one thing that you need in order to execute on that thing for 2024? Let's get intentional. Let's open up these conversations. Let's grow together. I love you guys. Thank you, Carlin. Is there anything you want to share before we jump off?
No, I'm just excited to see everyone's goals.
Awesome. Okay, love it, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful New Year. Have a great weekend, guys.